I didn't see it in time.
Oh, you should have just assumed.
Oh, Dawn, I love you.
Oh, there's Dave.
Okay. Dawn, I know it was you.
Anything
Hey,
important?
everybody.
Hi, Dave.
How's it going today?
Just fine. How are you?
Doing good.
Up and down, man.
What's that?
Said, quit doing that.
I'm trying to. Is that good? Hey, there's my mom and dad.
Mhm.
Hey, guys.
Yay, Dave.
Dave.
Hey, Dave, we're glad to be here.
Mhm.
Thanks for joining, Dad. How's Mama?
Mute us.
Those are Ray's fingers.
Sorry. Make it through here.
Hi, Dave.
Hey.
Hi, Ray.
Dave, we love you. We're gonna unmute and we're glad to be here.
Thanks, Dad. Dad, I wrote your letter to Mike. I hope you read it.
I did. It was so funny and so good. You did a great job. I'm so proud of you. And I read it to your mama. She loves it.
Oh, hi, Frank. Whoops. I
Hey,
didn't know I didn't know you were Dave's dad.
yes, and we're so glad to be here. And you guys have a great meeting. We're going to be listening right here.
Thank you. Me too.
So, guys, what we'll do, we'll just wait for the Sloth Institute to jump on, and then we'll just allow them to share their screen. And we're just going to check out their all of their animals as a thank you for our support, for helping them with their injured sloths and getting them back to the wild. So we donated about $2,000 to their work over the holidays.
Very cool. Thank you, John. Thank you, Dawn. And John and Dave.
Don't thank me for things I don't do.
You're the backbone, John.
Oh, is that what I am?
Oh, wait,
Don's the
never mind.
worker.
Never mind. I see Dawn there. I was just kidding. So, guys, we were going to try to do this at night after work, but trying to go through and see some of their animals just wouldn't work in the dark. So obviously we had to change some things around. And so we just picked one of my days off. So so I could join and see. I've never been to the Sloth Institute, but Sam Troll is one of Molly Kanuma's friends, and she introduced us. And so we've been following them and trying to get a partnership established. And what we want to do this spring is to create some fabricated vines with ZooFab out of the San Francisco area, and have zookeepers go and install them as perching, because their acclimation pens for rewilding, all their perching tends to rot and fall apart in the jungle, and so they can't keep all of that stuff fit for sloth reintroductions. So we're going to be doing that. But since they've taken in so many new animals during the pandemic, we wanted to help help feed them and take care of them. So so we went ahead and sent them a donation to help out, because some of the wildlife rehab centers in Costa Rica have been forced to close. And so the Sloth Institute has actually taken them themselves and actually have a lot more species than just sloths down there near they're in Manuel Antonio. So so hopefully we'll take a group over and get to go visit the Sloth Institute when things are safer.
Hi, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we hear you.
Hi.
And see
Hi,
Hello, everyone.
nice to meet you.
you. Thanks for doing this with our community.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I'm Sam, obviously.
And I'm Pedro.
Who else is here?
We invited some of our board and some of our volunteers and some of the Explorer kids and Zoo Crew kids that work at the zoo with us, and people that have an interest in sloths,
Cool.
including
All right.
including our partners at the downtown aquarium, who actually
Oh,
have
awesome.
sloths, and they do sloth art for the community. So we got to meet their sloth and
Ooh,
art from them last year.
sloth art is cool. Awesome, cool. Well, welcome everyone. We are going to show you 3 very special sloths. One of them is one of my favorites. Her name is Elsa. And I don't know if any of you have checked out some of our online social media, but Elsa is appropriately named because about 3 months ago, she was found hanging from a branch in the jungle, actually near our release cage, almost like she was looking for us to help her. And she couldn't move her back legs. She was paralyzed from basically the waist down, but it didn't actually turn out to be from structural damage to her spinal cord or anything like that. It actually was a muscle issue. And so we did some acupuncture therapy with her and other physical therapy. And since then, she's regained almost all of the use of her legs. Like she can definitely move both of them, but her stomach is still not really the best. But oh wait, let's actually get to her before she climbs all the way up, because she's so good at climbing now. But so she's one of my favorites. She's a baby 3-fingered sloth. And so when she came in, she was probably about 3 months old. So now she's about 6 months old, and you'll see how she's starting to climb much better now.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
do you use here? Hello?
Can you still hear us?
Yes, we can
Yes.
still hear you guys.
You're fine.
I think
Okay,
we've got
great.
everybody muted. So, but yeah, everything's coming through.
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
good.
perfect. Cool. I'm gonna Pedro, if you want to move a little bit over that way so you can see them a little bit better. And just let
You
me
coming
know.
or no?
Yeah. There you go. Any questions so far about Elsa?
No questions. She's beautiful, and I'm so glad
Yeah.
she's healed up. Guys, do you guys see? There we go. Make y'all screen bigger so people can see better.
That's on an individual basis. Just tell them to go upper right hand corner, click view, and go to speaker view.
Guys, Ray is telling me if y'all go upper right hand corner to speaker view and hit it, you'll be able to see the sloth in larger detail.
Okay. Let's see. Is that the same? Oh, maybe on the Zoom thing? Click the Zoom thing.
Wait, no, but we're good, I think.
It worked for me, Dave.
Oh, he's telling me others
Yeah.
to do that.
She is beautiful.
Yeah.
She's pretty cool. She like I said, she was about 3 months old when she was orphaned and injured. So she's still like much more used to using her arms than using her arms and her legs, but she will use her legs a lot now. We expect that she'll make a full recovery and still be releasable, even if she only has like even if she still has a little bit of limited motion in her legs. They're really good at compensating, so there shouldn't be any reason why we can't release her. It just might take a little bit longer.
So do you know why she had the problem with her legs?
So, what we believe is that she fell weirdly, and kind of like when she fell, she caught herself and then stretched those muscles, because sloths have extremely strong stomach muscles. Like they can do all kinds of crazy acrobatics in the trees. It's super impressive. I wish I was able to do that. And because of that, their stomach muscle is super important in the way that they climb. So like, for example, we've seen stomach muscle issues in other sloths that have been electrocuted. Like maybe they recuperate in all their limbs, but if their stomach is damaged, it really affects how they climb. So it seems like she pulled muscles, but like severely there. And it's just been like a long road to rehabilitate and heal those muscles. But like I said, she's gotten so much better. I mean, before she couldn't use her legs at all, like not even a little bit. And now her right leg is almost normal. And it's really just her left leg that she still kind of favors a little bit. But everything else, like about her rehab, is going super smoothly. Like I said, she was 3 months old. So she was about like 600 grams when she came in. And now she is 1,300 grams. So she's gaining weight really, really well. Just like all the other babies. She behaves just like a normal baby. She's really pretty. It's pretty remarkable how resilient they can be. I mean, we've seen sloths recuperate from crazy, horrible electrocution injuries that you just, can't even fathom how they can recuperate. Or like we have a sloth right now that we've released that we're tracking. So one of the things that's unique about our program is that we do a lot of post-release tracking, and actually that's how the Sloth Institute kind of started, or it's how we started in 2014, was as a research program, mostly focusing on how to track hand-raised sloths that have been rehabilitated, that I hand-raised myself and then released back into the jungle. Because previously it was thought that maybe it wasn't possible, that hand-raised sloths couldn't return to the jungle and didn't know what to do. So we started a tracking program to study exactly like what they were doing and how they were doing once they were returned back into the jungle, and then be able to document that whole process scientifically so that we could share how to do it with other centers. So like other places that we've worked with, we share a lot of information about all the things that we've learned through tracking. And then while we're tracking the hand-raised ones, or while we have tracked the hand-raised ones, we also were simultaneously and still are tracking wild sloths in this area. And so through that, we were able to compare how the hand-raised sloths were reintegrating back into the forest by how similar they were behaving to the wild sloths in the area. And were they using the same kinds of trees? Were they eating the same kinds of food? All that kind of stuff. And so from that, we've found that absolutely sloths can be released, hand-raised sloths can be released back into the forest, but also handicapped sloths. Like we have some one-armed, two-fingered sloths that we've tracked in Setapiki with an organization called the Toucan Rescue Ranch that we're friends with. And then we also track a one-armed sloth here in Mil Antonio, a three-fingered male named Prince Eric, who's very handsome. And actually just the other day, he was seen breeding with a female. And he's doing really well with just one arm. So it's the tracking program itself is not only a way to learn a lot about sloths and how to best conserve them and how to best rehabilitate and release them back to the wild, but it also gives sloths that wouldn't normally have a chance to be released, because most people would think, oh, you can't release a one-armed animal, a chance and a way to reintegrate back into the forest with a watchful eye and make sure that they're doing well when they go back. And so far, all of that's gone really well. So again, like with Elsa, like even if like her left leg never gets 100% perfect, it shouldn't mean that she can't be released.
So normally, how long would she stay with her mother?
So the three-fingered sloths stay with their mom for about 6 months. So around this time would be when she would be weaned from her mother naturally in the wild. When we're hand raising them ourselves, we like to get them a little bit bigger before we release them, because they tend to do better post-release when they're a little bit bigger. So she'll probably be with us another 6 months until she's about 2.5 kilos. And then that's the point that we usually release the hand-raised three-fingered sloths. But the moms can wean them. It really can kind of vary. Like we've seen three-fingered babies that were weaned like pretty early. Like we have one named Hercules that we've been tracking for
Oh, wow.
about a year and a half
Yeah.
now. And he was an early weaner. So early weaner, that sounds weird. He was weaned early by his mother.
Oh, no.
And was actually weaned when he was only like 800 grams. So we were really not sure. Like he was kind of on the cusp of like, is he orphaned or is he, just weaned early? But he did great on his own in the wild. And actually, like the last time we checked him, he's already over 3 kilos. So they definitely can survive a little bit younger than you might think without their mom, but it also still is very advantageous to be bigger, obviously, in the wild, because then they can, go longer without eating. And whoops, microphone went out of my ear. They can go longer without eating, and they can obviously, climb through the forest better.
I like her right now.
Yeah.
She's struggling. I think she
So
got it now.
she's in one of our practice trees right now. So with all the orphans, we have them practice climbing in this tree. Sloths are obviously born knowing how to climb, and with all of the things that they do, they know how to climb, they know what foods to eat, they know how to go to the bathroom, they know how to scream, to, fight with others, all those kinds of things. But what they get with their mom is like a safe place and a safe time period to practice all of those things, because they are carried around by their mom through the forest for the whole time that they're with her. And so with the orphans, we just like to make sure and give them the same kind of opportunity to practice all of their natural instinctual behaviors so that they're fully well prepared to go back into the wild. And they also have to get used to things like weather. I don't know if any of you guys have been to the Costa Rican rainforest yet. I'm pretty sure, Dave, you have, but man, the thunderstorms here are intense, and it is genuinely terrifying for some of us, but also for some of the sloths, like the first time they experience being in a tree in the jungle in the middle of the night all by themselves with a giant, thunderstorm going on above them. So, exposing them to those kinds of elements before releasing them is also super important. So they live in the jungle in a cage without, any kind of surrogate mother before they get released.
Maybe we should change so that I don't lose my arms.
Sam, how many sloths are you guys taking care of right now at the Institute?
How many sloths?
How many
we have?
sloths?
Yeah.
Currently, like we actually released one yesterday named Selena. She was electrocuted. So that's one down, and we have scheduled this week to release 2 more. So currently we have, count real quick.
Well, she's right in the sun.
Oh, she's in the sun. Wait, do you want to actually answer that while I get the boys? Finish
22?
answering that question? Huh?
22?
It's about 20.
Yeah. So, hi, it's Pedro. She's in the worst angle ever because she's right on the sun, so we don't want to go blind, all of us, so we're switching. In the meantime, welcome to Costa Rica. This is a brief kind of like look around of some of the training trees that we have for the sloth, which we have around 20 right now, counting the ones that we're taking care of and also the ones that are being tracked nearby. So yeah, so we have some road for them to practice. This is where we separate the leaves. We have our volunteers currently looking for leaves. Every day we have to go out. It takes about 3 hours to get enough leaves to feed everyone. They're super picky, so they only want the newest and freshest leaves. So it's great to go with the scorching sun to collect leaves. It's awesome. Oh, it's fun time. I think this is a better angle. Yeah, so the leaf crew should be coming in soon, and then we feed everyone. This tree that she's climbing, it's actually guasimo, and it's one of the ones that they can eat. So that's why we have them practice here. So they also, can get a snack in between the climbing.
Pedro, I've noticed that they're calling them three-fingered and two-fingered now instead of two-toed and three-toed. Is that just a new thing that has come about? I'm kind of out of the sloth loop.
Well, it's a more accurate thing because both kinds have 3 toes. It's the fingers that change. So they should be called 2-finger and 3-finger. I think the official name is still toes, but we try to use fingers instead. I think the confusion might come because in Spanish we have the same word for fingers and toes. It's just dedos. So you have to specify what kind of dedos you're talking about. But yeah, in English maybe it was lost in translation. That is, of course, the main difference. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about them, but something that we can see right away from her quick climbing, the color of the hair, when we see the other guys, you're going to notice that they're more brown. They have that tiny little knobby tail. She keeps swinging. They use that to dig holes when they go to the bathroom. They have a mask. These guys have a different nose. The 2-fingers have more of a pig nose, that sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know where she's going because she's being very active. This is not normal. I think she's just looking either for the best place to eat or the best breezy spot, which is the 2 things that she loves: food and the breeze, which I mean, I agree a lot.
How long have you been working at the Sloth Institute?
I've been here since the beginning. I was with Sam at the rescue center that she used to work before. So when she created the Sloth Institute, I came along. So 6-7 years is what this, yeah, something around that.
You guys started the same time we started the KACF. We started in 2014 as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. This was meant to be.
I was supposed to be back in Costa Rica in October. Obviously, couldn't make that happen, but we've been there four different times doing some conservation work, from everything from sea turtles and jaguar to quetzals.
That's interesting.
And so adding you guys and the Sloth Institute is great. I mean, it seems like every time we go over, we pick up some new friends.
Well, we're very happy to be your friends. Absolutely. And oh, wait, I think that the sauce are ready, and I'm gonna put it on. Wait, do you want this or what?
I'm coming.
Okay. Oh yeah. So well, the Sloth Institute is located inside of a resort, so that the noise is a guy leaf blowing because they're trying to keep it pretty for the tourists. I'm trying to signal him, but clearly he doesn't see me. And oh, Sam's here. So here we have the Johns. This is John Lennon and Elton John. For all of the guys that we work with, we name them, and we have sort of themes. So pretty much all of the 2-finger sloths are named after musicians.
And Elton, this is Elton, and this is John Lennon. Oh, John is demonstrating how they like to eat dirt. That's a very normal behavior.
Can you hear Sam?
Yes, we can hear you guys.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, this is eating dirt, but it's not eating time; it's pooping time.
Pooping time.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
So when they poop in the wild on their moms will come down to the ground, and then they get off of their mom, kind of like this, like, so pretend the blanket is the mom, and then they do like this little twerk, which sometimes we help them do, like that, to get them started. They kind of twerk their butts. Come on.
We actually named Liso, one of them Liso, because she's a really good twerker.
Okay, she's getting in the position.
Oh, there you go. You see it? Hmm.
That is great. That is a wonderful twerk.
You can tell John has started because his eyes are closed.
Yeah.
And now Elton has started too.
Look at that bliss.
Before I worked with Sloth, I never thought animals pooping could be so entertaining. Primates, I have to say, I don't think they're as entertaining when they poop.
It was very aggressive.
So you guys are located near Manuel Antonio. Are you in a place where just people could just drop by and tour or visit or whatever?
So the Sloth Institute itself, it's not open to the public. Our lab and our cages and all the facilities are off limits to people staying at to anyone. What we do is, because the hotel donated the land where we are, we offer one of our volunteers, sometimes myself, and we go around on the hotel trails and we point the sloths that we see that are in the wild, or some of the ones that have been recently released that we still, track with the radio collars, so we can spot those guys, and we show them that, and we tell them what we do, that sort of thing. But nobody comes in here. We don't actually. It would be illegal for people to come in because of the Costa Rican government, and also it's not part of our goal. So we don't want people to be coming. We don't want to have it like be a zoo. It's a different type of goal.
Well, since they're being rehabbed.
Yeah, because they're gonna be
to be
released, all of them,
released,
so we don't want them to be
try
seeing
to
people.
minimize human contact before they're released.
Yep.
But the grounds where we are, there's a lot of really good forest, including an area called the Maritime Zone, which is protected by the government. And all of this leads into the Manuel Antonio National Park. So it's all basically the same kind of forest that's in the national park. So there's a lot of wild animals that that we take people to see on the nature walks that Pedro described, including the sloths. Obviously, is the main focus. But there's 3 different species of monkeys that come through this forest: agoutis, tamanduas, macaws. Oh yeah, there's scarlet macaws that live here. Toucans, lots of different bird species.
Iguanas.
Yes, and and then on the nature walks, we're able to also teach people about responsible tourism and not, supporting places that let you hold sloths, that, take sloths out of the wild for people to hold them and take pictures with them, because unfortunately that's a big problem with sloths in the habitat countries where they're found. And we've even rescued some sloths from that here in Costa Rica. I'm gonna get the scale so you can weigh them.
Okay.
Guys, we had 3 zookeepers down, including Anton, came down, and he was so excited because I think on his walk with you, I think they saw like 20 sloths, and he was so tickled.
Yeah. That's a really good walk, because the average is like 7.
These guys seem to become pretty attached to you while they're young. Does it make it more difficult to release them into the wild?
I mean, for us, not for them. Luckily, the sloths are solitary in the wild, so I feel like they're not wired in a way that they want to form connections. For example, if we were working with monkeys, as we wouldn't be able to do these all the time, because these kind of thing would just make them used to people, and they would try to connect with us. But when they are this age, they would still be with mom. So they are close to each other, and if we were to grab them, they would probably hold on to us. As they go older and they reach an age where they would be independent, then they dislike us, and they are very firm about that, and sometimes very aggressive about not liking us. So everybody that works with them, and we have to health checkups and stuff, we have to be very careful, because at a certain age they get snappy and they bite and they scratch. So it's it's a really good type of behavior, because that's what we want them to be doing to people. So we're gonna weigh him now.
This is an important day for Elton, because we're trying to, once he gets to a certain weight, we can reduce his milk feedings, because right now they're on 3 times a day. And so once he gets big enough, he can go to twice a day. and then to once a day, and then just leaves. Right now they get milk and leaves, and they start eating leaves when they're a couple days to a week old. So this is John. He's the bigger one. He's 1.8 kilos. So he's gaining weight nicely.
Excellent.
We weigh them when they're growing babies like this. We weigh them once a week. Good job, little John. Get on your blanket. Now I need Elton. Excuse me. Can I have your other leg, please? Thank you very much. So when they're much older, and well, depending on their personality, they could obviously bite me if they want. I don't know if you were already talking about that.
God, yeah.
Yeah. So
We're very afraid of the sloths.
these guys are pretty nice. So they don't bite me, but. Whoa.
So close.
I mean,
Is this good enough?
yeah.
All right, perfect. Hey, I mean, yay.
Yay. Elton's a big boy. I don't know. I'm actually getting their milk ready right now.
Oh, great. Okay. Something that we can do while they're still here is show you what the poop looked like. Because based on the experience that I have with our animal people and ourselves, everybody's very interested in poop. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. The light's not great. Oh, there you go. So
Nice.
it's tiny little pellets. Yep, kind of greenish.
Mm-hmm.
That happens because of well, the leaves, obviously. Sometimes it looks yellowish if they got too much milk. But no, that looks very healthy. And I don't know if you know, obviously we get them out once a week when we weigh them, but they can hold on to going to the bathroom for about a week and a half. And if they wait that long, they can lose up to 30% of their body weight in one go. So that's why we have to be weigh them right after to make sure that we get accurate weights. And now they're probably going to snuggle each other. When you have babies that are about the same age, both of them try to be the baby and make the other one the mom, and the other one hates that. So it's kind of like a little bit of wrestling.
If we bring a group to Manuel Antonio this fall, would you guys advise us staying at the hotel that's where you guys are at, or is there someplace else that you send people?
That's a very good question. I mean, obviously, if you want to see us all the time, this is the easiest thing to do to stay at Tulimar. When I have had colleagues or friends from college and things like that that want to visit or study or work with us, they usually cannot afford to stay at Tulimar because it's a bit of the high end. So I mean that would be the defining thing. There's a lot of other hotels nearby that are a little more comfortable money wise.
Okay.
If I was not working here and I wanted to visit here, I definitely could not afford to stay here.
That is good to know. So we'll
Yeah.
probably get some advice from you as it gets closer to October.
Awesome place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sammy's saying that yeah, it was rated #1 on TripAdvisor. So like
Wow.
worldwide. Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, there's Dubai and other places, but yeah, it's here, I guess.
A lot of other places.
Yeah, this is the #1, I guess.
Well, kudos to them for donating that land for all the wonderful work you guys are doing. That's
Yeah.
that's a pretty big conservation step for a big organization.
Yeah. We're very grateful with them, and they donated, but they also help us out, and I feel like they pay attention to what we say too, which is a big thing because what the main reason why we get sloths in the clinic is because of electrocutions. They go on the power lines and get electrocuted because Manuel Antonio is basically built in the middle of the rainforest. And a big part, obviously, the construction of roads and houses, but a big part of the problem is also the views because everybody wants to look at the beautiful ocean because we're a little bit in the hill. So they are trimming the trees constantly. And sloths can't jump. So if there's not proper connectivity in between the trees, they're screwed. So you don't even have to cut the entire tree. If you cut some key branches, then you limit the mobility, and then they need to come down to the ground or go on the power lines, that sort of thing. Luckily, with Tulimar, we have been able to convince them to try different trimming techniques and save some trees and explain to the customers, so that helps. And we're actually planning on working on something together to get kind of like a sloth seal for hotels, that sort of thing.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Do you see the sloths using the crossovers over the highway and stuff that they've been building in Costa Rica?
Around this area, sometimes, but it is. So the thing is that those were designed for monkeys, which physically doesn't mean that there's anything that the sloths can use them, physically speaking. They just choose not to, because they're not in the best spots for a sloth. And the sloth's always going to pick the easiest path. So if they get to the edge of the road, edge of the forest, and they need to go across the road, and the power line is, I don't know, 1 meter, and the rope is 2 meters to the other side, they're always going to pick the easiest path. So we spend a lot of time putting ropes into Lamar, not only to connect the trees, but also trying to figure out what kind of rope works best and how to put it up so that the sloths use it most. The answer was super obvious. We should have thought about this right away. Just connect the trees that they like to eat. So that's what we've been doing outside of Tulimar too. For science, we needed to check, but it was like right there, the answer. So yeah, so now we're working a little bit more on doing it outside of Tulimar too. You guys got a nap? That's what's happening.
Now you
They
guys,
know that
during the
milk time now.
pandemic, Pedro, you've taken in some different species to help out.
Yeah, that's correct. Most of the rescue centers in the area were dependent pretty much 100% on tourism, and obviously the border shut, so there was no money coming in. So it's been an interesting season. We've worked with a few monkeys, a couple of squirrel monkeys, whiteface, scarlet macaws, 2 toucans. We had an agouti. The agouti, I think we didn't release him soon enough, and he still like tries to get to where the volunteers live, and like steals like shiny things. It's very interesting. And then what else? Yeah, a couple of armadillos too, which, as you probably know, are related to sloths, cousins, sort of thing. Oh, and an armadillo that couldn't walk. He kept running around, and no, he would move 10 steps and then he would roll sideways. We never figured out what was causing that, but we kept practicing and practicing, and then eventually he stopped rolling. So then we released him. What was that? I'm sorry? Oh yeah, he was stuck by a dog. Man, what a life. Laying on the ground, in the sun, the breeze, taking a nap with your best friend.
Pedro, what about travel to Costa Rica? When do you feel like there'll be? I mean, I know it's probably hard to predict, but do you think getting the vines fabricated and to you guys in the spring could potentially work out?
I really hope so. Let's see, restrictions wise, because the country is so dependent on tourism, they open up rather quickly. I mean, in my opinion, a little too quick. But we already got the vaccine too. So that was very exciting. We're 7th in the world. And the vaccination process already started. So I hope that it's gonna get back to normal soon. I think the spring, right now, life is pretty normal with a lot of caution, I would say. So a project like that, I mean, I know that you can come in. I think that we could be able to accommodate that sort of thing. Probably, yeah.
Okay. Are there times that we should avoid coming to see you? Is there a better time you think to install the fabricated vines?
I think everything is pretty much the same for us work-wise.
Okay.
With Costa Rica itself, I guess the big difference would be, again, the price. Obviously, the dry season is more popular. And every time that there is a vacation time in the States, all of the prices hike. So yeah, because that's what they're getting on the dollars. Yeah, April would
Yep.
be okay though. I think so. Yeah, there's no holidays then.
Okay. It's fast approaching, and it's already January. But I wanted to talk with Zufab and with Anton and some of the keepers that were going to come install those for you, and just make sure that times were okay, even if we had to move to May potentially, but maybe avoiding the summer seasons when kids are out of school would be better
Yeah, I
for
think
us.
so. Because I mean, on a normal year, May would be more expensive for everything.
Okay.
Tickets and stays and
May?
yeah, because it's the beginning of the summer in the States for kids. I mean, as opposed to April, but I ask.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, maybe.
yeah, a lot of our high school and
Uh-huh.
college graduations, and they get out in May, so it may be a good time for people to head
Yeah,
south.
absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the peaks.
Okay. Well, we're excited to get to work with you guys more, and just and love what you're doing. I'm glad that Molly Kanuma and Stacy Johnson and got us all engaged together.
I know. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, and yeah, we're very happy to work with you guys. I think Sam is getting the milk ready. If you guys want to see how we feed them, and also maybe we can show you real quick the Sloth house. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that then.
Okay.
All right, real quick. So as I said, yeah, this is the outside bit, and then we have kind of like the second stage for them to practice climbing. So when they start with kennels, they have a bunch of branches, and as they grow older, they go out to this area that as of now, it's a bunch of, well, these are all edible, and then branches that we have to constantly be changing, which is why your help is going to be great. And then in this part, we have a bunch of oddly nocturnal three fingers. Oddly. They're not ugly, Sam. They're adorable. Oh, hello.
That's Tammy.
Yeah. So that's Tammy over there. I'm pretty sure that's Humpty.
No, that's Sophie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sebastian.
Mm-hmm. Lost.
Oh yeah.
You're going to make all of our community go on to eat cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, that's still Sebastian. And I don't know if you can see on the neck, but that's the radio collar. So he's
Okay.
pretty much ready to go out now. We put that up about a month or so before we release them, yeah. And so that they get used to it and make sure that it's not hurting their necks or anything like that. And then, yeah, they get released.
And he came in as a newborn last year.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you hear that? He's
No.
a newborn last year.
Okay.
Very, very tiny when he got to us. Yeah, and it was when Sam was really into Parks and Rec. So that's why we have a bunch of like the cast members. We got little Sebastian, Tammy, Ron was around here for a while.
For your radio collars, how expensive is one fit for a sloth?
The radio colors are like $200,
Mm.
$250.
Okay.
And
I've seen on your site that people can donate collars. You have specifics on your website, which I think is really great.
Yes, yeah, it's a big part. And then we've gotten some donated like companies here in Costa Rica. Oh,
Mhm.
Good morning. Hello. Do you think it's leave time? Almost, but not yet. Should be like in half an hour. Oh, a yawn. Those are cool. Showing off. Yes. Very good. Thank you. It's really hard to train them to yawn on cue. That was a natural yawn. Just kidding. They are sloths. They do it all the time.
Ray was enjoying in this because he said that's his spirit animal. He's a sloth at heart.
All right, great. He's very energy efficient.
Yes.
What do you mean only at heart, Dave?
It's my spirit animal. Ooh, I see somebody itching. There's a fun thing there. That's Tammy? Yeah, so that's Tammy itching, scratching her little leg. A pretty good sign that, so in the wild, they usually, as soon as they hear anything scary, including humans, they freeze. So when we see them in the wild scratching, we're pretty sure that they feel relaxed, because you can really tell from far away when they're scratching, because it's a big motion compared to how they usually will not move. So we assume that if we can see it with our trash eyes, then predators that have excellent vision would be able to see them. So they only do it if they feel safe. And a safe sloth is a relaxed sloth, and therefore we think that he's a happy sloth. So that means I'm pretty happy right now, pretty content.
Do you feel like the sloth populations in Costa Rica are stable?
Yes, but that is very much a feeling, because since they're so good at hiding, there's not reliable methods on how to do a proper census on them. A few people have, like set up theoretical things, but it's not really been properly done. So when you walk in the jungle and you see a bunch, then you're like, okay, I guess they're okay, but there's not a lot of like science behind that.
Okay.
But it looks fine to me.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. They do, obviously their main problem is human encroachment. Costa Rica keeps developing and it keeps putting pressure on their habitat. Especially here in Manuel Antonio, yeah, because it's so popular and everybody wants to come here. It's the smallest national park and it's the most visited. So yeah, everybody wants to be in Manuel Antonio, and of course there's a lot of money to be made if you build a hotel. So yeah, people keep building and building and affecting them, of course. Okay, we're gonna switch to the feeding area. Are these guys awake? Well, this is a hammock where we have a couple of, yeah, they're very sleepy. They don't even see anything. All right, let's get to the feeding. Oh, hello.
That's pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
And you say this is 3 times a day now, the milk?
Yes, we're currently at 3 times a day. Soon to be 2.
But as they get older, you cut it back.
Yes. So they start, well, if they're, obviously it depends on how big they are when they come in, but newborns are every 2 to 3 hours. And then as they get bigger, we reduce the number of milk feedings and increase leaves. But like I mentioned before, they start on leaves right away, even in the first week of their life, as they would do with their mom. And they stay on milk the whole time they're with mom as well. So the milk and the leaf combo is the winning combo for them to gain weight and stay healthy. And our team, actually 2 of them are out getting leaves right now. They'll probably be back in like an hour. And the leaf getting is a daily thing, and it usually takes 3 to 4 hours to get enough leaves to feed all of the sloths in our care. And they go, like, sometimes in one day they could do like a 50-kilometer round trip to get enough leaves, and then other times maybe only like 20 kilometers. But it's a lot of driving and a lot of time to get all of the best leaves for them and to get a variety of species, because they need to eat a variety of species to keep their gut microbiome happy.
And
I
you
bet
were,
that's a lot of, oh, sorry, John.
sorry, you were excited with Elton's weight. I take it he's put on a significant amount or seems to be gaining properly or?
Yeah, absolutely. Elton is shooting up now. As they always usually like their weight gain is regular. Like I would say on average it's about 150 grams a month, but it definitely like varies from when they're super tiny to when they're his size now. And then like in the past year or 2 years we've changed, because we originally raised the two-fingered sloths on obviously the goat milk. They have to have the supplemental milk, but we used to give them cooked veggies and leaves. But through the years, as we've learned more of the leaf species that they eat, and also seen how long it takes for them to get off of the veggies once they've been released, we've now changed and we're raising all of our babies on just milk and leaves. So we're not doing the cooked veggies for the two-fingereds anymore. Three-fingereds never got veggies because they can't eat that. They're strict herbivores. But and we've seen that they're gaining weight even better on the all leaf diet than when they were getting the cooked veggies. So far it's going really well. So yeah, Elton is a very big boy. And he started as a newborn, so he was super tiny when he came in. But we've had him for a few months, obviously.
Are you guys involved with some local schools, and do you guys do community talks or anything about your work?
Kinda. Like we used to, but then COVID happened, and then everything got kind of like shut down.
Right.
Before that, there were a lot of strikes from the teachers because there was a problem with their pension and everything, and then there was like not really classes for a long time again. So we have done a few, but not as much as we would like. And we tried a few times online things with schools from the States and a few here in Costa Rica. But I don't know if it's like just around here or what happened. But those attempts that we had were not super well received.
Mm.
But we have met with the firefighters.
Oh yeah, we
and
do
the
that a
electric
lot.
company, and we do like training sessions with the electric company and with the firefighters on how to handle sloths, because they're the ones that get the sloths off of the electric wires for us and then bring the sloths to us. And it's really funny because like with the electrical company, so like Pedro and I both have been up in their cherry picker to go up on the wires and grab the sloth off ourselves. And each time we're like, okay, like we're gonna go grab the sloth, no big deal grabbing the sloth, but we're like terrified of the electric wires, obviously, because we don't know anything about that. And so we're like afraid of the electric wires, like, are you sure it's off? Are you sure it's off? And then the electric company is terrified of the sloths. And so it's definitely a collaboration to get those sloths off of the wires. But that's been really beneficial. And then we have like rescue kennels that we give to the firefighters and the electric company, so that when they do get a sloth, they can put it in one of our rescue kennels, and then we switch like one of our empty ones with the one that the sloth is in. So we have a really good, close relationship with those guys. And because of that, we've been able to prevent a lot more electrocutions. And also we've, every time we get a sloth in, we're not only obviously trying to help them, but we're trying to learn at the same time. So each time we get a sloth off the wires, we do one of our health checks where we measure them and figure out, what stage they are in their life. And we see them again. Us about like who are the sloths that are getting in the most trouble on the electric wires, and at what stage in their life is it usually happening. And so far it looks as though it's by far the two-fingered sloths get on the electric wires more than the three-fingered, and it seems to happen the most when they're at the age of dispersal.
Okay.
Age of what? I'm sorry.
Dispersal, like when they're dispersing to out of their like native home range and looking for their new adult home.
Oh, wait, something happened. Okay.
I don't think it was you.
What is the predators in the wild?
So they have a lot of different predators, but the biggest one that's a problem for our guys here in Mount Antonio is the ocelot. Because the ocelots are, I mean, I'm sure some of you have worked with them before, but they're like just crazy athletic. I mean, they can climb super well. They're obviously
Oh,
super
don't
good
get the
on
phone.
the ground. They love to eat sloths, and also ocelots can take prey of all different sizes. So from what I've read, I have not studied them myself, though I've read a bunch just because they like to eat our sloths sometimes. They can take prey that's like smaller, kind of rodent size, but then they also can take deer. Last year there was a video that a tourist got of an ocelot carrying a smaller ocelot carrying a pretty large house cat that it had caught and killed, obviously. So yeah, like they're just like amazing predators. They're kind of, I know it's the circle of life and they're part of the forest and everything, but they're kind of my worst nightmare. Like they are the reason why I don't sleep well at night, because they're just too good at killing. And they're very, very common. Like they're all over the place here in Costa Rica. So they, they can be in all different kinds of habitat. Like, yeah, they're just a sloth's worst nightmare. But also birds of prey. So classically, like the harpy eagle is a species that gets talked about as a lot as, a main predator for sloths. But here in Costa Rica, there aren't really harpy eagles anymore, unfortunately for them. But like in Panama, for example, there's a lot of harpy eagles, and so they eat a lot of sloths. But there's other birds of prey, like spectacled owl can eat sloths. They can eat adult three-fingered sloths, and we have seen evidence of that here in Mount Antonio. If a tree boa is big enough, they can absolutely eat a sloth. So it really just kind of depends. Also, too, like I was mentioning with the three-fingers, how they can be weaned really small, but obviously they're more susceptible to predators at that size because there's so many different kinds of predators that can eat them when they're small. And then a big adult two-fingered, it's gonna have to be like a really big, brave predator to take one of those, which again, ocelots are, and there's plenty of them here. So yeah, they're a big prey species, unfortunately for them and for us that love them.
But these guys just got the list, so be okay.
They just got what?
The list of
list.
things to avoid. Yeah, so
Yeah.
be okay.
Were you guys taking notes, the Johns?
We need to bring pictures.
Yeah.
What's their normal lifespan?
So, in the wild, no one really knows how. I mean, there's been estimates of like 15 to 20 years, but they never really said where they got that from. In captivity, as I'm sure you guys know, there have been two-fingered sloths that have lived. I think, isn't there one that just got to 50?
Really? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
in
thought it
Europe
was
somewhere.
47.
But anyways,
Wow.
40s.
Yeah.
And then there was a three-fingered sloth that was in captivity at a sanctuary actually here in Costa Rica that got to 20 something. But three-fingers typically really don't do well in captivity. I mean, as you probably have noticed, since they aren't really in zoos outside of their habitat country. I'm pretty sure there's one at the Dallas World Aquarium, but but I don't know like how long like each one has been able to survive there because they've had multiple. But yeah, so the three-fingers really don't do well in captivity. So like if everything was perfect and obviously they didn't, run into any diseases or tragic accidents or tragic predators, like I would think that they could possibly live longer than maybe even in captivity, because they do like for three-fingers, because they do so much better in the wild. But for two-fingers, yeah, I mean, at least to almost 50, which is a pretty long time. And their gestation, the two-finger gestation, as you may or may not know, can be between 10 and 11 months. So they have really long gestation, and they stay with their mom for up to for a good full year. They stay with their mom. And we've seen in the wild, mothers with a baby on them and like a young adult looking two-finger kind of following them around. So we assume that there's a good chance, we haven't done genetic testing on them, but to like confirm, but it would make sense that that was like her previous baby before that. They definitely can be pregnant while still having a baby on them and nursing on them. Like they get pregnant while still having, while still having a baby. And we've seen them breed with babies on them. In fact, that's pretty common. It's a little X-rated. We're like, whoa, that's a little too much for that tiny baby on you, but they will breed with the babies on them. So they have a pretty cool, like their behavior is a lot more interesting, I think, than, I mean, they look very lazy right at this moment, but they are milk drunk. Their behavior is a lot more interesting and complicated than I think was initially assumed. And like these guys are more social than the three-fingered, because they do like, the whole like greeting with all the kissing,
Oh yeah.
which can be also a little X-rated at times, where they can really get into their kisses with each other. And in the wild, we see the kissing greeting happen a lot, and it's really interesting because, the two Johns here, when they're released, they're not gonna hang out with each other, or at least that's not what we've seen. Like we don't see those sloths like follow each other around in the forest. Sometimes they might sleep next to each other, but what we always see is they always remember each other. They have a really good memory, so they always remember each other, and you can tell because they'll walk, climb up next to each other. They do the little tongue greeting, the kiss, the French kissing, and then they don't fight. They just keep going on about their business. Whereas if it's a sloth they don't know, and if it's of the same sex, especially, or like, two males, or really the females like to fight with everybody, to be honest. But for males, if it's another male, they're gonna probably fight after they do their little greeting and figure out like who the other one is. Females like to start fights a lot. Like they're pretty feisty with the males. It reminds me a lot of working with lemurs. So maybe there's a little bit of female dominance there, because the females definitely tell the males what to do.
I can see now why Anton loves his sloths, because he spends a lot of
Yeah.
time making out with his colleagues when he sees them at first.
Yeah.
Every time. Every time.
They taught you excellent social skills.
Yeah. Wow. What a wonderful culture you got there.
This has been interesting.
Which is more prolific, the two-toe or the three-toe?
Which is more what?
Prolific.
Sorry? Prolific. Like at breeding, or just like how many there are?
How many there are?
So the three-fingered can be found usually at higher densities because they tolerate each other better. Like we'll even see like certain trees where every once in a while there'll be kind of like a social gathering of three-fingereds in the tree. And it's really cool because like they'll all be kind of sleeping together, and it usually, like when we see it, it might be like 3 or 4 females and a male. And the 2 females, like before, this is an exact situation I saw, like 2 of the females had a baby, and the babies were climbing around and climbing on different adults and like playing, being like normal, like doofus babies as babies are. Whereas the 2-fingereds, they can be in the same tree. Like we've definitely seen it. And they can definitely forage near each other and all that kind of stuff, but they tend to be a little bit more territorial, so they don't tolerate other sloths in their territory as well as the 3-fingereds do. So they're usually at a lower density. But the 2-fingereds can live in a wider variety of habitats in Costa Rica than the 3-fingereds, because the 2-fingereds can go higher in altitude. They can be in cooler temperatures than the 3-fingereds can. But of course, like in those higher and cooler temperatures, they're really found in lower densities, because it's still like not really like the ideal spot. Like honestly, where we are in Mil Antonio, it's just like sloth heaven. Like they just love it here. So they're in a higher density here than they would be in different climates and areas of Costa Rica.
Well, guys, we can't thank you enough for sharing your sloth world with us. It's been an hour. If anybody has any more questions or wants to make any comments or something, I think we should let Sam and Pedro get back to work.
It's been a pleasure. It's really nice finally meeting you.
Thank you guys so much. Dave, I sent you a text. I don't know who's doing this, but if I could get a copy of the recording and maybe post it to our social media channel.
Yeah, Heather, we can get you a copy. We're recording it, and we have the Clouded Leopard one recorded as well.
Yay. Thank you all in Costa Rica so much. It was amazing.
You're welcome. Thank you
Glad
so
that you like
much.
it.
This was part of your birthday present, Heather. Happy birthday.
Happy
Oh my
birthday.
God. Between Georgia and these sloths, I'm having the freaking best birthday ever.
Yeah,
Feliz cumpleaños.
we second that over here.
Yes, thank
Actually,
you. Thank you,
Heather
thank you.
Heather got married in Costa Rica.
Oh,
And we officiated her wedding on a beach
wow.
Oh, cool.
a couple years ago. So Costa Rica, she got engaged there, she got married there, so it's very near and dear to her heart.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
David, we
Okay,
enjoyed
guys.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
Pura vida. Thank you guys. Pura vida.
Thanks for joining.
Thank
Pura
you.
vida,
Thank
muchas
you.
gracias. Feliz año nuevo.
Feliz año igual.